World. I'm John Sokol. Well, let's go now to the lawmakers in Washington. One person who speaks for some of the victims of this disaster is Congresswoman Castor, who represents Florida's 11th district, which takes in Tampa and St. Petersburg on the Gulf Coast. She joins us now from Capitol Hill. Castor, very good to talk to you. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
How are people you represent being affected by this?
Well, in Florida, our #1 industry is tourism. And the great frustration is that along the west coast of Florida, from Pinellas County and St. Petersburg all the way down to beautiful Sanibel Island, there's no oil on our beaches. The oil is hundreds and hundreds of miles away, and yet our hotels, our small business owners, our charter fishing cruises are really taking an economic hit. And today in a hearing, we asked tourism experts on what we can do to combat that perception problem. One of the things we'd like is BP has been running full-page advertisements and TV commercials incessantly polishing their corporate image. If they could take just a portion of those monies and devote that to explaining to everyone that our beaches are pristine, the water is still warm, the sunsets are beautiful, there's no oil on the west coast of Florida, that would go a long way to help getting our businesses back on their feet.
Okay, and does it make any difference to you that Tony Haywards has gone and that a new man is taking over?
I think for the folks I represent that are so frustrated at the hit they've taken to their bottom line in their businesses, they see that as a positive development. They did not view CEO Haywards as someone who was sensitive to their plight. I mean, we were just coming out of a recession in Florida, so this BP oil disaster, the blowout, came at a terrible time because just when these small businesses and hotels and restaurants are getting back to work, this disaster comes along and sets them back.
Do you believe that BP have been negligent?
Based upon all the testimony I've heard at hearings here on Capitol Hill and all of the research reports, it certainly appears to me that they promoted profit over safety and that they were indeed negligent. They're going to have to tone up to that responsibility. Now, I give them credit for the $20 billion escrow fund that has been set aside to address business claims, but in Florida, no large business claims have been paid to date. There have been some worker claims that have been paid, but this comes at a terrible time. Like I said, we're coming out of the recession, and a few weeks delay, a month's delay for a small business can be devastating.
Yeah, so if they have been negligent, that of course means that there could be all sorts of legal action taken against the company. Do you think there is a question mark over whether BP can survive this?
I hope not. I hope BP will survive. They're a multinational corporation that has large assets. I think they will survive based upon everything that I've read. They're selling some assets off right now to take responsibility for this disaster. If this well stays capped, they complete the static kill and the relief wells, and then they're able to devote themselves fully to cleaning up our beautiful Gulf environment and paying damages to small businesses and our state and local governments that have lost significant revenue because of the disaster. Hopefully we'll be all right, they'll survive, and more importantly for me, the small business owners, those hard-working folks, will be able to work.
And even before this disaster happened, you were already clear about your view on drilling coming closer to shore. Presumably you feel as a result of this, that's just not a prospect now.
No, not in Florida, because we rely on tourism. Clean beaches, clean oceans. So many of the British tourists spend quality time on our beaches, and they know they don't want to travel to a place where they can see oil rigs or have a risk of a disaster off their coast. I know it's important, drilling is important to other states, but in Florida, our economy is based on tourism and fishing and all of the jobs connected to it.
Okay, Castor, really good to speak to you. Thank you so much for being with us here on BBC.